Venezuelans are dealing with. Daniel DiMartino's family fled the country just a few years ago. He's from Young Voices, and he's up late with me on the Final Five to share his story. Daniel, where are you speaking to us from tonight?
I'm speaking from Indianapolis. I am here in Indianapolis studying economics.
So this has been really, that's where you went. You went from Venezuela to Indianapolis. Tell me the story about why your family got out of Venezuela.
Well, my family actually got out of Venezuela after I did. I came here thanks to a scholarship from my university, and that's what allowed me to be here. My family left just a little over a year ago. And the reason they left is just that, and the reason I left is that it's simply not possible to continue living in Venezuela. It is the country with the highest murder rate in the world. It is the country with the highest inflation rate in the world. And it is also a country where you have to make lines of hours to buy things like toilet paper, food. It's just not possible to live a normal life like we think of it here.
I know that there were a lot of images like that coming out of Venezuela under the presidency of Hugo Chavez. Nicolas Maduro succeeded him as president. But this has been a long time in coming. What was the tipping point for Venezuela to get to the point where they are at right now as a country?
The tipping point to become an authoritarian state and full-blown socialism was the election of Hugo Chavez in 1998, of course. That year, he was actually elected by the people, and that was a big mistake that the people of Venezuela committed, and that they have progressively found out that it was a mistake. And since then, Chavez started coalescing power. He started centralizing. He changed the constitution, extended the presidential term, allowed for re-election, and then started rigging the elections once people got tired of him. And he died in office of cancer, and then Maduro replaced him. And every year it just gets worse because the government just keeps on taking more properties. Inflation gets worse. Crime gets worse.
And tell us right now the situation with the opposition leader. So the gentleman, I believe we're looking at him right now on screen. What is his deal, and why is he being considered the president of a country if he wasn't elected to that point?
Well, Juan Guaido was elected. Juan Guaido was elected in 2015 as a member of parliament, as well as the two-thirds majority in the National Congress for the opposition. And the opposition has under the Constitution the authority to name a new Supreme Court. That's exactly what this opposition-controlled Congress did. They named the new Supreme Court, which declared Maduro a corrupt and illegitimate leader. And they also, in this case, the parliament, they decided to depose Maduro and basically do what the Constitution says, which is that Maduro was elected in a sham election, and therefore he has no legitimate power over the country. And it is the president of the National Assembly, in this case Guaido, the leader that just assumed power, the only legitimate president.
So as we see what's happening here with President Trump, the Trump administration saying, look, we believe the opposition leader is the legitimate president, what could that mean for the country? And does it mean that things can turn the corner now, or is it still a long way from restoring Venezuela as a place where people would want to live?
What President Trump decided was the right choice. Now, every other country in Latin America, except for a few exceptions such as Cuba, Bolivia, Mexico, they have recognized Guaido as Venezuela's only legitimate president, because it's truth. It's under the Constitution of Venezuela, the only legitimate president. Now, what this can mean is that now Guaido has officially requested the United States to bring humanitarian aid to the country. The same is true for Colombia, the same is true for Brazil and the rest of the world. This means that now planes, ships and trucks full of medicines and food that the Venezuelan people desperately need are on their way. Maduro will have a choice: reject that humanitarian aid and possibly face military confrontation, because this humanitarian aid is completely authorized by the legitimate government of Venezuela, led by Guaido, or just accept the humanitarian aid.
Daniel, I'm just about out of time, but I just want to get a sense of how your family has adjusted to the United States. I mean, you go from Venezuela to Indiana, the Midwest. What kind of life are they living now, or is it still a situation of trying to figure your way through a brand new culture?
My family actually left to Spain. I am the only one that's here in the United States. They are adapting better. You know, it's a progressive thing, a gradual thing that you have to do to get there. But we're just praying that Guaido takes the right actions, and that President Trump and Brazil and Colombia support him, so that in the case he requests these countries intervene in Venezuela, this is the only right choice and the only way to depose Maduro from power.
Daniel DiMartino from Young Voices, my guest tonight on the Final Five. Nice meeting you, Daniel. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Back after.